Okay, before we get to our last game, which is the Monday night game, I want to remind everyone that if you want to get free text plays every day sent right to your cell phone from Jim Feist, just go to jimfeist.com, top right-hand corner, you fill in your name, and you can text WINNER, W-I-N-N-E-R, to 313131. Each day you'll get a free play right to your cell phone from Jim. And make sure you go to, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can sign up for Jim's YouTube page, betting page. It's called Sports Betting. All you do is click on the link right above us. It's free. You'll get picks, free videos, and all the information right from Jim Feist, and it's free. Okay, let's get to our last game on Monday night. Got the Bears playing at the New York Jets. The Jets opened here opened a pick 'em. The odds makers were basically saying, we're not sure what's going to happen. We'll let you guys decide. Well, somebody has spoken already. 1.5 the Jets now, and now up to 2 in some places. So the money's coming in early on the Jets. Total of 45.5. You got a pair of 1-1 teams. You got a run-oriented team against a passing one. You got a strong defensive line in the Jets against a suspect young defensive line of the Chicago Bears. First off, the Bears offense has been very good. Like last year, they're 9th in the NFL in passing, over 255 yards per game. And the defense, which couldn't stop the run last year, they made all these young players to put from the draft on the defensive line. Right now, we haven't seen it. They're ranked 27th against the run, giving up 161 yards per game. That's exactly what they gave up a year ago. They are coming off a nice win, though, at San Francisco, down 20-7 and getting out-yarded big time for the game. They certainly came back and won 28-20 with a phenomenal third quarter. Actually, they had the yards. I'm sorry, they only allowed 216, but still, that run defense gave up 129 yards rushing to San Francisco, 4 yards per carry. So still a bit of a concern. Also, the 49ers were 7 of 13 on third down. So, Hollis, this is the second straight road game here for Chicago. You know, if you're into situational handicapping, should you have to be cautious of Chicago this week?
Well, I think it's a horrible spot for Chicago. You know, I had Chicago last week, and let me tell you something. I loved cashing that ticket. I'd almost written it off. And then it might have been me that moved that line from the Jets from -1 to -2. We made some huge plays already on that game, but just like I said, a horrible spot for Chicago. You know, here you're sitting in Chicago. You got to fly out to the West Coast for a Monday night game, so you lose it one of the days. You fly back to Chicago. You had a huge emotional gasp. I mean, you're down 20-7, and you not only win the game, cover the spread, everything. Now it's back to the East Coast for the second road game in a row. And you have 5 key starters on defense that are banged up, hurt. Jay Cutler, I don't think he showed a lot of leadership last week. You know, he managed to get the win, but 176 yards isn't going to cut it. Now, when you go to the Jet side, in fact, speaking of 176 yards, I think that's what Geno Smith had. 2 quarterbacks meet this week. Both had 176 yards passing last week. The word on Eric Decker is still out. He pulled his hamstring, and I'm not sure how effective he'll be next week. That would really hurt the Jets' chances of keeping their number 1 rushing team together, but they're number 1 against the rush. I think this is a solid underplay. I don't see anybody getting fancy. I don't think the Jets have the quarterback, whether it's Geno Smith or Michael Vick. I think that Chicago is just going to try to, keep simple. Marty Morningwig, he likes safe, he likes short, he likes little flare-outs, handoff passing. He's just rushes, and he's boring. He's not creative, and I don't see them getting real creative. So let's look at the under 45.5, and let's play that.
Yeah, you mentioned a good point, Hollis, too, about the injuries. 5 players on Chicago picked up some defensive injuries. So check the injury report for the Bears this week. Zach, there's really no tricks with the New York Jets. They're very simple. They run the football. They don't like to pass. They're first in rushing, 29th in passing. Can't see that changing much as the season goes along because they're so conservative. And then you got a very good defensive front line right now. Tops against the run, just 52.5 yards rushing per game. Had the win over the Raiders, 19-14. That should have been higher as they dominated in yards. And then last week, boy, what a tough game. They probably should have won that. They ended up giving up 390 yards, did shut down Green Bay for a while before imploding. So how do you see this contrast of styles here on the Monday Night Football?
Well, like the Jets scored 19 points week 1, 24 last week, and they really haven't put together a consistent game offensively yet. So I'm leaning towards the over on this Monday Night Football game, and the reason being just because I see them building upon what they've done the first 2 weeks. They're really running a well-designed offense right now. The league hasn't figured out yet, and like Hollis mentioned, they're doing these little college-type of rollouts with Geno Smith, whether he's running or throwing short dink and dumps to his receivers. They're making gains out of these plays, and Chicago has those key injuries defensively. While, on the other hand, they're still moving the ball offensively, and we've yet to see Matt Forte have one of his typical games yet. I think this could happen this week with the Jets just giving up tons of yardage in the pass game. So last week they gave up 390 to Aaron Rodgers, and even Derek Carr had a decent game week 1 against the Jets secondary. So I'm going to lean on the over here, and you got to factor in the quarterbacks here. Geno Smith and Jay Cutler probably in the top 10 of turnovers the past couple of seasons, especially Geno Smith, 21 interceptions last year. I don't know how many fumbles, but he is a fumble-prone quarterback as well. If we get even 3 turnovers in this game, that's going to translate to points because they turn the ball over in dangerous spots.
Well, we probably will see some turnovers. Keep in mind the Jets are 4-1 against the spread their last 5 home games. With that said, I'm going to take a small lean here toward the underdog because I like to look at matchups. This is a bad matchup for a young New York Jets secondary. They just gave up 390 total yards to Green Bay, 346 of which were passing. And the Jets offense in 2 games, they've had 3 turnovers. That is certainly a red flag. In the last 4 meetings between these teams, the Bears 3-0-1 against the spread. So I do like the quarterback edge with Chicago and a small play toward the Bears. All right, let's go with our best bets. Zach, we'll start with you. Your perfect 3-0 on the show with best bets, including that one with the Steelers-Ravens under the total. Plus, you've been winning 8-3 on Saturday in college football in the season, 5-2 in the NFL. You got some plays coming up for this weekend. How can folks get them?
Yeah, I'm on JimFice.com. My NFL package should be $65. Should be 4 or 5 plays. But I'm going to give you another best bet winner here. And I'm going to look at a team that value might be diminished because of what happened last week. And a case in point for value diminished is the Dallas Cowboys. They got rolled through week 1 against San Francisco 49ers. They go travel to Tennessee, slight underdogs, and what do? They come out and just roll over Tennessee. And this week I think that can happen with the Miami Dolphins. Miami had that key win against New England Patriots. They traveled up to Buffalo, a team that they've had just torturous times against, and they got whipped up there. But now they go back home. And I think they're going to be able to have the edge here against Kansas City. They're only 4.5 point favorites. Looked at the weather forecast, and we saw last week the heat was a main factor in some of these games. And in Miami, there's an 80% chance of rain on Saturday, 40% chance on Sunday. Factor in the humidity in high 80s, low 90s. And I don't think Kansas City's even prepared for that type. They have injuries with Jamal Charles right now. Receiver options, basically they've got that new tight end that's helping them out, but the receivers nowhere to be found. And Alex Smith's confidence is a little bit shaky. You remember this guy had obvious success with San Francisco, stellar success last year in his first year with Kansas City. Now he's 0-2. This game's real key for this team. If they go 0-3, he's really going to be feeling the heat, the same type of heat that it caused him to lose his job to Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco. While Miami, even though they lost to Buffalo, they've got confidence to come back at home. They can get pressure with Cameron Wake, get in Alex Smith's space, and I really don't see the dink and dump offense of Kansas City having success against this Miami defense. Look for Miami to establish the run game and take the lead here and win at home. I would say this is probably your best value on a spread this week in the NFL. They should easily win between the 7 and 10 point range, maybe even higher if they can rattle Alex Smith early.
And that is a distinct possibility. He's taking the Dolphins at home. Zach, Hollis, last week you gave us a very ugly duckling here in the Rams, and they got the money. You're a perfect 3-0 on the show as well. Plus, you're on that sizzling 32-12 run in all sports. What do you have coming up for this week?
Well, I'm going to have another great week. About that St. Louis game, one thing I'm telling you right now, as a professional handicapper for 31 years, there's a lot of people that have come and gone. I'm still around after 31 years against the book. here in Vegas. And when you go up to the window on an NFL, not college, but NFL, and if the game makes you want to throw up to put your money on it, you're on the right side. I'm telling you, I was sick to my stomach. In fact, I was almost embarrassed to go up there and bet my money. They're counting out all this money, and St. Louis plus the points. I mean, people were like laughing. So anyway, it made me sick, and that's why I'm 3-0. I don't mind being sick and collecting the cash because that's a good remedy for getting well. I've got a best bet this week, but first of all, your best bet's probably to go to JimFights.com. I got the Magnificent Seven. That's 4 Saturday college winners. And I'll tell you one thing about these college winners. I'm not here to brag. I'm here to just state what I've done for the last 31 years. But I have this most uncanny ability to find some crazy underdog that manages to win the game straight up. And I've got one coming up this week, and I'm going to tell you about it in a second, that you could probably take it on the money line. At least if you're going to bet, let's say you're going to bet $500, you could take probably $300 plus the points and put the other 2 on the money line, and you're going to get probably around 4-1 on your cash. So that's the way you can make money on some of my dogs. But the Magnificent Seven, 4 Saturday college games, 3 NFL games, including my college shocker of the year. Now, this game coming up is going to be the closest double-digit team out of all the Saturday games to have the ability to win outright. And it's going to be the Cal Bears, California, plus 11.5. Jared Goff's got them passing the ball great. It's a bounce-back year for Cal. If you go through, I don't want to spend a lot of time on what happened to Cal last year, but the value completely went out of the ball with Cal Bears last year based on a lot of things that have not happened or have been corrected this year. They had last week off so they could prepare for this game. This, on the other hand, is an off year for Arizona. They are nowhere near the team that a lot of people have placed them in the last 10 years. They barely got by Nevada last week, and that was a key week. I wanted them to get the win, but looked bad, and that was good. And I'll tell you another thing. This Arizona team, forget if this Cal wins straight up, but Arizona is, without a doubt, not a team that can ever lay double digits this year, this early, against some team that can pass the ball as effective as Jared Goff can. So I'm going to take Cal plus 11.5. We're going to be 4-0 on my best bets after this game Saturday night. So make sure Friday I will have all my college before the lines move and my pros before the lines move, all 7 of them in one bundle for $79, and you'll be able to get that anytime after noon Eastern time on Friday. So the best thing to do is go to JimFights.com, and when you see Harvard, just go to school on his games, and you'll be coming out with a probably better than 5-2 on my Magnificent Seven.
All right, we got a college game, we got a pro game aside. I'll go with a pro total. Best bet will be the Packers-Lions over the total. If you want to get winning plays, Jim Feist off that dog of the month in college football. That was South Carolina, 38-35. He's a perfect 3-0 with these college games of the month. Another one goes on Saturday. He also has his NFC South game of the month. That's going Thursday in that big TV matchup. Jim is 4-1 with football games of the month. You can get that play and more at JimFeist.com. That'll do it for the NFL version of ProLine. We'll see you next week.